So
Yeah.
what are you up to, James? First of all, tell us who you are and say a few things about yourself because I don't think I can do you justice. I know you're an urban planner currently
Yeah.
doing your PhD at University of Hong Kong. So
Yes.
tell us more about yourself, where you grew up and what are you doing now?
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Adeline. And hi, everybody. So I'm James. That's a name from Kenya. I come from Kenya, born in the capital city of this wonderful East African country. So my background, urban planning, that's my area, professional background. So I've studied in Kenya, Netherlands. I did my master's and now doing my PhD here at the University of Hong Kong in the third year, just about to submit my thesis and defend it. So that's what I'm
Exciting.
currently doing. Sleepless nights currently, as I
Wow.
also play around with some AI models. And so innovation for me, AI is something I picked up maybe around October last year. So no background in coding, no background in computer engineering, but doubling up now in developing apps. So that's what I'm most excited about right now. Yeah.
Right, that's very exciting. So tell us a bit more about your journey. You grew up in India and now you're doing a PhD in Hong Kong. First of all, the life change, right? That this is definitely a stage in your life. And then also now with AI. How is it changing your career? And is your thesis about that right now? And what are your thoughts about it? I know you're a very enthusiastic and passionate person. So tell us more about what you're working on.
Okay, thanks. So my career trajectory, I'm coming from Kenya, then I did my master's in the Netherlands. That was a bit of a, what do you call it, a change in culture and everything. My master's, I took some time to work in Kenya, then like stagnation in the career because I thought I knew everything. But I felt the need to challenge myself and study for the PhD. So I applied for initially wanted to do it in Netherlands. But hey, wait, how about Asia? So I thought about Japan, Hong Kong, opportunity came up. Lucky I was blessed with a scholarship fellowship to study the PhD here. And definitely within the first year, it's like my mind was opened up to so many new things, right? So professionally, academically, I mean, the main thing is that there's always something new to learn. So I thought I knew when my career was
Mhm.
stagnating, but now there's a whole window of opportunities which has opened. But now
Right.
I think from 2023, as interacting with AI, and again,
Mm.
a whole new world of possibilities opened up. So the research and
Right.
there was an opportunity for innovation competition which came in, and I submitted something just at the top of my head. I didn't think much
Mhm.
about it. And luckily, I was awarded the award, so some funding I received to do innovation. So I started with the innovation 2023, no AI. Somewhere along the way, there was a push towards AI, and it became apparent that okay, this innovation you're doing can benefit from AI because it's tech. It's a tech innovation linked to my thesis. So now my academic work, bringing it to society and sharing it with the world,
Mm.
AI is proving to be a big help in that. Yeah.
Yeah, I resonate with that because I also think I had some kind of career moments where we feel
Mm.
stuck. I think like you hit a wall that
Mm.
too until I fully embraced AI. And it's also fantastic that you before you were not really you didn't have a developer background and you just picked it up. And now I know that you're very hands-on. You're very capable with the coding and programming.
Well, I wouldn't say I'm very capable with coding and
You're very
programming
modest.
because
You're very
yes,
modest.
the thing is, my experience was this: I had ideas. I say, hey, I think this idea can be useful. We can make it into an app. I say, does it need to be an app? Would it help people and it's an app, or can it just be anything else? Then, so
Mm.
my experience first was to get a developer. So I think 2023, I hired a developer with the funding that I received. But there was a problem. I mean, we were having like
Mm.
there's the route to deploying your idea was a bit
Mm.
long in that, isn't it? So again, here comes in vibe coding. So I started vibe coding, I think,
Mm.
very late. I think this was last year around December. So this took around 6 months ago. So I
Were you
started trying
using
it out, and
Serve or Replit? Sorry.
I'm using Klein VS Code with
Okay.
Klein. Yeah.
Awesome.
So
Okay.
initially it was I didn't know what I was doing. I got
Mm.
hammered in terms of costs, but I
Mm.
realized a way to make it more efficient and more cost effective. And the idea here is that we're not replacing the developer. So the developers are
Mm.
still there. But for my own thinking, when I have an idea and it's
Mm.
middle of the night and I'm thinking of something, start working on it. 2 or 3 hours, you have a prototype. Then that can
Mm.
be given to the developer who now makes it better and fine tunes it. So I think
Yeah.
very, very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's the literacy. It's the AI literacy that kind of empowers you to better communicate with your developer. And that
Exactly.
actually helps so much. So when you were an urban planner, oh, you still are,
Yeah.
sorry, but when in your previous stage in life, right, when you were just solely focused on urban planning, what were some of the pain points as an urban planner that you feel like AI now is able to tackle very well?
Oh, thanks. That's a good question. And I think I'll demonstrate that later in one of the apps I'm developing. So one
Right.
of the things was in my context where I'm working in Kenya. So this is a developing country. We have data issues, data sharing, data access for urban planning is a
Mm,
problem. So urban planning, we want spatial data, data about
mm,
places and people. So getting this data was a challenge. You need to knock on doors.
mm,
It's not published. It's in somebody's computer. They don't share it. And if they want to share it, will be expensive. But now my current experience now with what I'm working on right now is that AI is kind of changing that because we have now growing access to open data sets, big data, OSM, Google, and other platforms, right? So this is becoming very open. Then getting access to that again is becoming easier. But okay, so now you have access to data. It's very big data sets, but now the
mm,
insights from that. So what the AI for my experience using AI and various AI applications, and now with the latest new kid on the block, the MCPs, I
yeah,
think I'm able to get access to this data and create my prompts and get insights based on my use cases. So that's
right.
a big game changer in terms of productivity, in terms of what we are doing, access to data
Mm,
and insights from that. So that has
mm.
been a very cool experience.
It's the handling of the data that is really a game changer at the moment, you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
looking
in
to see
a
it.
snap of the finger, you're able to get
Yeah, wow,
insights. Yeah.
that's a pretty good.
Which previously
Mm,
how that works out because previously would
mm,
have to go to the fields, then
mm,
try to do surveys and get this information by
mm,
observation, photography and the like, then come together and put a report. But
right.
now this is changing with this new technology that
Okay.
we are using. Yeah.
And you previously, actually, just very recently, you gave a talk at the Institute of Urban Planners in Kenya. How
Yeah.
was about that? Because that's a pretty big thing. How many people joined for that one?
Oh, so this was very interesting because the Kenya Institute of Planners is a professional association of planners in Kenya, voluntary, and we had around for that those what you call the continuous development, professional
Mm,
development programs, right?
right. So
CPDs, and
CPD.
it was a CPD, and the chairman invited me, and I'd been sharing with him some of these things,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm notorious in that. When I have a new idea, I many times publish
Mm,
it and share it. So he thought that it would be interesting to discuss digital tools for urban planning,
mm,
and so invited me to give to facilitate a seminar on that. And we're around
mm,
100 members. And the interesting thing was, the focus for me in all this was the state of the art in terms of urban planning digital tools. So moving from geographical information systems, GIS, conventional types, to
mm,
geo AI. So geo
mm,
information with AI. So
mm,
spatial intelligence with AI. Yeah.
mm,
So that focus and the interest was immense. The interest was immense. Some worries came up. Some people saying,
mm,
hey, the young guys were worried that, are you telling us now that the AI is going to do everything that we are learning and studying to do and take our jobs? Or what happens about our jobs? So there was that concern which came up, but many other people were also very enthusiastic about the possibilities being opened up, especially on the data access issue
mm.
and the various use cases which can be
Right,
applied. Yeah,
right.
yeah,
No,
yeah,
I'm very interested in that news
yeah,
because I know Africa is really going to be big. It is already, developing at a fantastic speed. For myself,
yeah,
my network in Asia already, you
yeah,
already know. But my next step, my next interest is really Africa and to understand what
yeah,
are the pain
yeah,
points there, what are the people doing there. And I mean, it's really good to see it through you as well.
yeah,
You're our vessel. So
yeah.
we are going to move into the next session, which is going to be 20
Okay.
minutes of your show time. And while you're putting up your screen, I'm just going to ping in the group chat thing we're doing on Sunday because we've been asked so many times about how my team had been doing renderings in AI. So I've just put together a chat on Sunday for anyone who's interested to join. So, but back to you, and 20 minutes
Okay.
is yours.
All right. Cool. Thank you, Adeline. So what I'm sharing here is how I started with this whole technology stuff. So
Mm,
from my thesis, what we're doing interesting, what you call academic work? So how would people understand this and how would people interact with this? So what we created here was this app which is sharing some of the research concepts that I was studying and which I'm going to be defending very soon in my for my thesis.
Oh, exciting.
Concepts like accessibility, not well easily understood by people. And then you'd come here and said, how can I make people access this easily? And so this tool was created for that. So initially it was just a web access, a web application, right? So later on, the focus started changing towards, say, when I did some design thinking course, the issue was making an innovation, but for who and for what? So the focus now changed from just sharing my academic work or academic concept, because this was meant to give people access to data, because it was meant to be, my problem is that people didn't have data and myself was unable to get data. But now I spent time collecting all this data for my thesis. And I thought, why don't I make it now shared to everybody in the world, especially the Kenyan planners, that they can now use it for their own situations and their own work, professional work or research. Then later on, the issue about the focus on people, because this was about data. Then so how are the people in that city or whatever area that I'm planning or working on experiencing their city? So I came up with this idea of adding this app which collects information that people report about the issues that they're facing. So we want to get the sentiments and the feelings of people, because my focus has been on the well-being of people in cities and what are the things which are affecting their well-being. Well-being is a very broad concept. It has academic connotations, but even as I think non-academic application, you'd understand what well-being would mean. So this came up. Then so we are collecting information about this. Then people, some of it is demo information. And then how then can this information be captured in a dashboard for quick insights? So you have many people submitting many things, but it's not making sense. So there's this dashboard. This at least is open source. This is using Google. It's using one of the Google applications. And we are able to summarize what are the issues being reported and where they're being reported and the like. But still, I was challenged at one point when we were doing the innovation competitions. I said, everybody seemed to be presenting on AI, and I thought, why don't I try my hand in it, right? So quickly, I was able to meet a supporter who was able to connect me to Google and Google Cloud team. So I got the Google Cloud credits to start doubling up with the Google Cloud resources. So initially, we were on Amazon. So we shifted to Google Cloud and we got credits on Google Cloud to help us with the ideas that we were thinking about. So this brought us to this application, which now applies AI. So this is a search agent, right? So it's using RAG from the data. So we have data. We are wondering, can people access it or can people understand it? Or should we make an app that they can chat with the data and make more sense? So what would be the better user experience? So using this example, we're able to create this app which has been working, and it can tell you quickly a summary report, right? So if you're interested in a particular area, so South Sea is one of the estates in that city, and then it gives you a report on that. So that was one pivot that we did with using the AI. And this was very easy or very quick in terms of deployment using Vertex AI in Google Cloud, right? Yeah.
And quick question, James, if I may.
Yeah.
So the data set, you mentioned the data set is open source, or did you put together the data set to train the RAG?
Yeah. So the data, the RAG is based on the data that we've been putting together. So there's two things. There's the spatial data we've been collecting, isn't it? So this is spatial data. Then we move from data. I do analysis. So the analysis is now to make it consumable to people. But now beyond that, there's now the human inputs or the crowdsourced information, what people are reporting. So that was now new data being created.
Right? That's very interesting.
So this now is another type of agent that I created. So this again is the other one I showed you was a search agent. That one was just searching the whatever information is in the data and giving the feedback and helping people to interact with all these platforms, this web platform. Then this one also has different applications. For instance, for a planner, if anybody in the room is a planner or you architects also, I would be interested in such information. Let's see. Sometimes we get problems with this. Those are the headaches and the problems we're still trying to solve. Fine-tuning this Sometimes it works, sometimes it might give you some crazy information, but we are still fine-tuning that. So
Sure,
for this one, quickly again, when you go to my city and you ask people, a developer or anybody who owns land or wants to do something, they ask, what is the zoning policy? Then you have to look for a document which is not accessible online, then read that document and try to relate it to your property and your site. So that was an issue. But now the idea here is to bring all this information on the one page and make it easily accessible and consumable for people. So using the chat is very good. But there's a problem, Adeline. There's a problem. The problem is this: how about the people who don't have smartphones? How about the people who don't have access to internet? What happens to them, right? So that's another headache that we're facing, and we experienced these kind of questions because people were saying right now this app very good on a laptop or a tablet, but on a mobile phone it's not optimized. Secondly, people without smartphones, then definitely they're left out. And in terms of inclusivity, AI and inclusivity, we want everybody to benefit. So now what we've been doing is we've been creating, we are moving towards text and voice. So you can use SMS, phone, text, and voice, right? But there's still another problem in terms of language, right? So the local language there, majority would not be English, right? So it would be the local national language. So again, can we improve our deployment to serve people in different languages and people who have different technologies to access? So yes, AI is a big thing, very good, can benefit everybody, but not everybody will benefit because some do not have technology to benefit. So that was just a quick highlight from moving from the academic work.
Oh, sorry, James, before you... Very sorry, but I want to ask a question if that's okay. It's so interesting. I also like your point on inclusivity and the people being left behind when they don't have internet. It's impossible. But I also actually want to ask a bit more about the crowdsourcing data, which is like, the real-time data. Perhaps I'm guessing that you would receive this information on Google when someone is going to report or review something of a site, right? So that's the crowdsourcing data, I'm guessing, or is someone going to be inputting at your website here? How does the crowdsource data work? Because I think that's very valuable for all sorts of things, like to receive real-time data.
Yes. That's a good question. Interactive web maps with a form. So what we're doing here, we are collecting it ourselves, right? So one problem would be getting people to start using it. So we've not had that happen yet. So we need to do we've started doing what we call awareness and outreach, right? And our focus here is on neighborhoods. So at the local level where people live, can you tell us about your experiences in the city? This is our use case. There can be many other use cases, but this is just one tool of how to collect crowdsource information from people to tell us about the issues that they're facing in their city. Then who'd want to use this? The public sector, definitely. The mayor, the politicians, the public service providers, right? Or any other public service provider. So that use case, you see, becomes more of a government to public kind of interaction. Then what is our interest in this? So as I was telling you earlier before the meeting started, for us, the interest in this is more of a social impact kind of project. Yeah, so it's for the benefit of humanity. That's one philosophy that we are working with. We make these tools, we make these things to give people access to data, access to information, and democratize this access to technology, or using technology to create this process. So this will be collected, going to our database. Then now there's a problem here also. Right now, I think, can a robot fill this form? Can somebody put in false information? And what happens when that? How do we address the data quality issues? I think there are solutions out there, and those are problems we'll be handling. In one other example, we were working with a municipality and the chairman of a municipality. Their option was that people should register their email address. So you put your email address and your telephone number so that the municipality can get back to you and give you feedback. Right? Because right now people were saying, even if we report these issues, nothing happens. So we're not interested in your innovation because nothing gets done. So again, how to win that public trust? Those are the issues we are grappling with. And so can technology help? It can help, but if there is public trust and there is trust by the public and action by the people who are responsible for taking action in this context of this application. Yeah.
Right. Thanks,
Yeah.
James. Sorry, I keep interrupting you. Please
It's
keep
okay.
going.
It's okay, man. It's that's let's discuss more. So that was just a highlight of this. And the another interesting thing, probably if I could get it, let me see where. Because the focus, I mean, the focus on people is important. So where do we get information about people and what they experience? This is something else I was working on one night. Again, with the help of AI, vibe coding, able to create some concepts and prototypes. So this is using Twitter posts, right? So you want to have geolocated Twitter posts where you're extracting specific information. You're looking for specific information. In this case, it was information about neighborhoods and the sentiment people have about the places that they're living in. So in the context of the city that I was working on, is things to do with infrastructure, roads and others, and the area and what people are saying. So this is more of some demo information, but this is how it should work ideally. That you can get an overview about the neighborhood, the topics, what is trending, and the insights. So that yeah, this is one application. And I've seen, for instance, what I'm working on right now is just talking with one of my friends or colleagues who are trying to develop an app where we want to get information about people's emotions and their feelings about the places that they are in. For instance, I know the UN Habitat is working on something called Quality of Life Index. So you go to a place and what's the quality of life? Do you feel safe walking at night? Are you satisfied with the services and the things that you're receiving?
Sure.
And your well-being in terms of how is your well-being in terms of where you are?
Yeah.
So the emotional information, and this comes from
Right.
people. And how can we get it from people?
Yeah.
That's
That is
another
the criteria.
yeah.
I got it. Yeah.
So that's another interesting thing, a bit of a headache that we're working on. But now with again, the one of the latest thing I worked on here was something I'm calling an urban planning assistant. This is what I was talking about earlier. So you want to develop a site or you have a site and you want to know about its development potential. So what, as an urban planner, would do, you'd go to the area, visit the site like this place, and this is the site. So you can see legend here, site location, then nearby locations, right? So what we're implementing here is instead of going to the fields without knowing what's on the ground, so you run this urban planning assistant and get some insights. So initially, you confirm where the plot is. You put in the address, either the name of the street or the geo coordinates. Then the app would pick this up and then collect for you all this information. But interestingly, what happens, it gives you a report, right? So we're making a report. And in this user application was based on my urban planning experience. So this is the kind of information we go to the site and collect and make notes about this. So you're taking notes about traffic conditions and accessibility. And interestingly, how it's working here is surprising, because in my prompt, didn't necessarily put this kind of structure, but the implementation is giving this feedback. So very interesting. And it's surprising also. That it's so surprising, because some of the things that it's reporting I've confirmed, because I picked a site that I know. So just checking, and I picked a number of them. And the observations, first of all, are factual, because what is the source of data? You're using Google Maps data, right? So there's places data and the like. Then what are we using for the reasoning and writing the report? We're using, in this case, was DeepSeek. It can be any other. It can be any other LM. So DeepSeek plus Google Maps. How is DeepSeek accessing the Google Maps? We're using a Google Maps MCP server. So previously we did another application using LangChain, which also worked in another setup. But in this case, the MCP server, very quick, very efficient.
Nice.
And if you would like to see maybe a demo, I just rerun this again. Hopefully it will run again. Should run again. All right. Didn't run again. Let me do this if you have time for that.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so this is my hometown. Yes. So it saved some info, right? So I picked so this is radius. So what you're picking is you can change your radius. What I realized with this, again, you pick a big radius. So what it's doing is capturing all the amenities and things around a 1,000 meter radius, 1 kilometer radius. Yeah. So initially, what it does, it's captured the point. Yes. So you can see it's captured my place that I'm interested in, Kiba Plus Radius. It's a confirmation. It's so
Nice.
what that tool that it's calling right now from Google Maps using the MCP server is the geocoding. So address to geocoordinates. So that's what it's done. It's picked the address and it's changed it to geocoordinates. So you can put the
Right.
geocoordinates and it will give you address interchangeably, right? So vice versa. So address and geocoordinates. So that's what is done, right? They're very quick implementation. Then it will pick the nearby amenities, which I've defined in the code. And yeah, so I think it's helpful. We'll see. We are testing it. We did this just last week. So
Yes, fresh.
in terms of workflows, when we deploy it this way, remember I told you last year I had to call somebody, hey, can we work on this app? This is my idea. Then he tries to understand what I'm thinking. But now with the vibe coding, we are discussing AI and I'm refining, and we are deploying the prototype on Streamlit free.
Sure.
At least the costs are controlled and able to see how it's working. Is it working? Can we change something? What's the user experience and stuff like that? So yeah, this takes a bit of some time based on the radius that you indicate. But
No
and then
problem.
again, we're using Reasoner. So Reasoner on DeepSeek more time. Yeah. But
Right.
I want to try out Gemini 2.5, Gemini 8.5, and see how that works.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah, so
fantastic. And I love a live demo as well. It always kind of never goes 100% smoothly. But that's why it's so
yeah.
so interesting. Whoa, well, there you go. You got a
Yes.
report. That's nice.
Yes. So you can see it's at every instance it changes some like this format was a bit different, but the facts are still the same, right? Then there are recommendations. There's some population dynamics and some the trends. It's spot on. This is
nice.
there's
Fantastic.
no mistakes.
Oh,
Building
this is
density,
great.
nearby amenities. What I liked, I just added this, I think, one day ago. Air quality, because again, this data is there. So you can imagine if you were doing a report, how would you write about air quality in a particular area? But this captures the current status of air quality, and you can see this is June 2025 data from the air quality API. So
I want to ask, sorry, quick question. I want to ask, what if someone just type in DeepSeek or Perplexity, if they just type in, please give me a report on a site research on Kigwa Coast Ridgeways, for example, wouldn't it also do it like kind of a similar thing? Or the unique selling points of your product is that it would always form in such a framework?
Well, that's a very good question. I tested it, right? So I compared. So the same prompt. So there's a prompt running this called, for you to get this report, there's a prompt, isn't it? Right? We've done the prompt engineering. So I used the same prompt in DeepSeek and which other one? I think it was ChatGPT, right? So the thing is, when you go straight to the LLM without any MCP kind of application, it will give you information based on what it's been trained on, right? So the DeepSeek will report based on its training data. So it won't orchestrate a data access for a specific point. Like for instance, it will give you, if it has information about regions, it will give you information about that. And what I saw, for instance, when you came to road names, it was giving me road names of places even 10 kilometers away, right? So it was making up stuff. So what you have with the tooling, when you tool this application with the Google Maps data and your prompt, now the AI has access to specific data. And you see now the other thing here is that you're getting to the point, right? So you're interested in a specific site. If you put it on, even if you put I tried putting the geo coordinates into DeepSeek and they say, well, the AI cannot, what do you call it, random coordinates or does not have the access to the tools to do the geo coordinates. I think that's what that's the report I got. So we need to confirm that. But please test and compare. I mean, this is just 2 weeks old. I think 2 weeks old.
No, it's very impressive.
So we want to find out that is it useful, or can we just simply just do the same thing, exactly the same thing on using the LLM? But from my understanding, why you want to use this kind of approach using the MCP and connecting the AI to the tools is to give it more grounding and more realistic, isn't it? Because you might have hallucination and some guesswork with a general prompt in the but so it's similar to the concept on what you call the RAG, right? So you're ground truthing and getting more information. Yeah.
So
but for me, again, the number of people I sent to this, they're so interested in it because they're like, wow, this is This is a game changer. And then now get this, the scale now again is immense because it's global.
Mhm.
So you can do this
Yeah,
for any place, right?
right.
And
As
like
long as you go.
yeah, Google Maps. So this is global anywhere, but the catch is it'll be good for urban areas and more so cities in whether developing countries or developed countries. But I think so you find in some places Google doesn't have much information about the place.
Right,
But the good thing is that it will tell you that the AI will reason and see that Google was unable to get the information and
right.
probably tell you that's a rural place or a rural area.
Okay. So would
So
you
now
like
the
people
question,
to try and
yeah.
test this? If you want people to try and test it, you can put it in the chat as well.
Oh
If
yeah.
you'd like
So
to do that.
this one I've not deployed it yet. So
Okay, let's see.
we've not deployed that. What we've deployed is something else called Geo Neighborhood Quality
Mhm.
of Life Explorer. That one has been deployed, and there's also this happens with it. So yeah, so this is interesting because this one is this is an app for you to. Why did I do this? People in terms of GIS data analysis,
Mhm.
and not everybody is an expert, or not everybody has the software and the tools to do
Mhm.
GIS analysis. So we created this advanced GIS data analyzer. So with this one, you upload
Mhm.
your data. Then when you upload your data in whatever format, it tells you it's updated and it gives you a quick summary. Then you can do some analysis on this. And again here the thing is natural language,
Yeah.
right? So if you're not a GIS expert, then let's see if it will run. So should be able to
Okay.
run hopefully. Yeah, so quick.
Oh, nice.
So you're
Great.
able to generate this, then it can do geostatistical analysis, a bit technical. It can do some so advanced GIS analyzer, so advanced data analytics. At the touch of a
Oh,
button, you see how quick that was. So you're not
yeah.
you're not installing software, you're not clicking many buttons to use a graphic user interface.
Yeah.
You simply come into this
Yeah.
and having this running. So that was another useful application. So what do I
That's it.
see? Yeah, so this is democratizing access to
Mm.
GIS technology and data. So anybody now can simply pick their whatever, and there are various formats: shapefile, GeoJSON. These are the main common formats used. I'll add CSV format. Yeah. So this one people can try out. I think you had shared
Right.
it on the link. I had given you the links for this. So this is good. Then this other one, we I'm working on it also from a socio impact kind of side of things. So there was a lot of analysis which went about to get this information. So what are you doing here? We're
Right.
talking of it's an index on quality of life. Why quality of life? What's quality of life? What is good? Why should we
Interesting.
be worried about quality of life? Is quality of life a business idea or
Mm.
is it public good? So
Yeah.
I think for me it's a public good. So this is more of a social impact kind of analysis, a
Mm.
social impact kind of application. So we want that if every city can make this kind of data,
Mhm.
then people can make decisions on where to stay. Again, this has right now everything we're deploying with AI.
Interesting.
Could I mention that the main thing here is how to get what we call geo AI, right? So they're communicating with spatial data. This has been a challenge. I think it's something which is currently a hot topic. That
Right.
normal large language models with text, images, videos, and the like, very good, right? So you're able to have that as input and you get output. But with
Mm.
geographical information, a bit different because of issues of topology and
Yeah,
things like that.
exactly.
Yeah. So like
Okay.
now, if you wanted to manipulate this data using the app, maybe not. But what we have so
Okay.
far using LangChain is that it's able to get the data behind this map and
Super interesting.
generate a report. Yeah.
So,
And you can
James, I
see,
want to make sure there's enough time for the
yes,
audience to
yes,
have any questions if there
sure,
are.
sure,
But
sure.
before I let them do so, if I may, I'd like to
Yeah,
quickly ask you some quick ones myself. So,
yeah,
one is that, okay, these are fantastic. You've just shown us 3 to 4 different prototypes that you're working on. Tell
yeah.
us a bit more about how to monetize these, because you know I'm a business girl. How do
Yes,
you monetize this? Even if it's a nonprofit, like even if it's nonprofit, it still has to sustain itself. It's still, I believe personally, my personal value is that it has to be sustainable for something good to work, and it has to be sustainable in terms of the business side as well. So what are your thoughts on that? Or rather, what are the challenges you're facing right now with these inventions that you have?
Okay, number one is I've not yet you can see from all of them, there's no like user interface for subscription and payment. So would people want to subscribe to this and pay for it? From talking to people, I think there'll be demand. The number of people I've shared with this app, they're like, oh yeah, interesting, we could use this, right? But turning that into a user interface where I start charging for people to access this has not yet been done yet.
Okay.
The other thing was, so what we did, I engaged one of my friends when we paid him for what you call activation or social media engagement, public awareness. So we want people to be aware. We had meetings with public sector and private sector entities and the civic sector or the civil society. So we've been sharing these ideas and then, hey, there's this application. Would you want to consider it? So one of the municipalities also pointed us towards the possibility of donor funding. So if it's social impact, then you're not thinking about the traditional revenues of your business, but you'd need
governments,
organizations which are already in that space to support and fund your activity.
And I can imagine
so there's that
there are
challenge
certain levels of challenges. Yeah.
Yes. Especially with the social impact or kind of public goods applications. Yeah. But we sorry. There was one thing. There's a marketplace. There's a marketplace I've created on the initial app that I showed you. So that one, what we are thinking about that marketplace is if you're interested in a particular data set, you can just pay a small amount to help maintain the costs of running the service.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, makes sense. No, that's very important. And so if I have to say that I'm always very touched by how enthusiastic you are about it, and also how you really care about, if someone else tells me that they're doing things for humanity, I probably wouldn't believe. But if you say it, I actually would think that is true. That's how I think of you. So I think if you have to use one word to describe success in your own definition, I'm curious to know what that might be. What's that one word?
To describe success?
Yes.
It's impact.
I love that. Oh, that's very, okay. I love it. Okay.
Success is when you've had an impact. So in my case, an impact on humanity. So that's my thinking.
Thank you so much. Right. Yeah. So I will allow time for anyone in the audience who'd like to ask certain questions if there are any. Open the floor.
Hello, James. Thank you for the demonstration. I see that you're working with data a lot, and I think I don't come from an urban planning background, but I can see that it's very useful for urban planners who make decisions based on data all the time. So I'm just wondering, apart from working with data with AI, how much further do you think that AI will bring innovation to the urban planning industry? Or is planning always driven by data, in your opinion?
Okay, thank you for the good question. I think from the presentation I did a few weeks ago to the Kenya Institute of Planners, from where I sit, data is the heart of everything. Planning is data driven, but I think the innovation which would come in is, so we have data about places, but data about people in places and their well-being, I think that has been a missing link. And for me, the innovation would come from there. And that's one area that I'm really interested in. And anybody else who's interested in that space, concepts like sentiment analysis, people in places and what they're feeling, what they're experiencing, I think that would be very important because data for urban planning is there. I mean, there's big data, everybody's creating new data sets from satellite imagery, from sensors, from drones and other devices, from cars and traffic signals and other sources of and you've heard of the digital twin concept and this has been there, but AI then gives you one thing, quick insight about that, right? So but depending on how you've fine-tuned your model, then checking for errors that would arise, but so AI gives you quick insight about that based on your use cases. But the information about people, again, you see, it has to be collected somehow. It has to be collected in a way that we understand and that people are not gaming the system. So we want, from where I sit, we want to know people's experiences and their perceptions about places, because then that makes it very interesting for urban planning. Then urban planning becomes about the people and just not the place only. So you're planning for people and you need to know more information about people. So for all these products, I think for what's missing for us and what would be useful in terms of innovation is bringing in that angle of the people and what they're experiencing and their perceptions.
Fantastic.
Because I think it would be it would be more comprehensive to really digitalize something that we usually, like generally we see well-being or some topics that are very human into data and really help planners to make decision based on how we feel.
Yes. Yeah, and I think even from an academic side of things, I mean, people are very different, people are spontaneous. Well, you might say there are some patterns which keep repeating, but when dealing with people, then you say that very high frequency, high dimensional information that you really need to be in tune with and to understand then what are people thinking. Then again, consensus. So in fact, if you look at these kind of applications, if you're doing urban planning, there's a lot of what you call public participation. And that the public is saying, no, we don't want this, or we want the government to do this, or we'd rather have a park rather than a sports field, or we'd rather have a shopping mall rather than something else. So where does the consensus come in? Now, interestingly, by the way, there's some of my friends from HKU also working on a startup called the Decisions Lab. So what they're using there is digital personas. So a bit controversial, but you're saying that you have these digital people in your model who are a twin of the real people, and you'd give them roles. So role playing. So can we have role playing? Can the AI models do the role playing to help the planner as they plan before they actually talk with real? So you won't avoid talking to people, you won't avoid engaging people and listening to real people. But the role playing with the digital personas, I think, is a very good thing as a starting point to try and understand this is what I'm planning as a professional, as the expert. But what are the people, how are the people going to perceive it and receive it, and what would they think about it? So the AI with the huge potential that it has, then you can create digital personas. Then those digital personas help you to humanize a bit. Yeah.
That's crazy. James, I feel like we can go on forever because there are so many great ideas coming from you, and you have actually so many years of experience as well in this domain. I also want to say that we are actually about to do something quite interesting, which is a design competition. As far as I know, you have actually a plot of land that you're about to show to investors, and you want to do some concept design on some CAD drawings that you've already someone to do. And right now, this competition is going to be asking the applicants to use AI to make concept design with it, right? Are you excited about that?
Very excited. I want to see how. I saw it from your website on the website. So I asked them, how about using AI to make rendering or realistic images of the development? So I have land with my wife. We want to develop it. How do we? So I got my brother to do the designs, and we paid for the architectural and structural engineering drawings, right? So we have that. We're going into approval. But now, how do I attract investors? We want investors to see something realistic.
Right,
so
exactly.
Can you do a demo? Can you do a competition for people to use AI to create these renders of the development that I can now use to market? And that's what we've been discussing with you. I think you can tell the people how far we have gone with that.
Yeah, we've got quite a few well-known judges actually on the panel. It's going to be very exciting, and we will tell people more about it very soon. I think we're just coming together with a brief, and it's going to be a summer competition. Yeah, so
looking forward to
yeah,
that.
me too. That's actually really exciting. So James, actually, there's a very interesting question from Chloe. I'm going to read it out for her. Hi James, thanks for your insights on using AI in data analysis. Since most AI applications rely on past data, do you think there's potential for these systems to move beyond reactive reporting and begin to predict urban phenomena to help urban planners and planners? That's such a good question. Thank you so much.
I think this is a good question. Would you like me to answer? Okay, go ahead.
Yes. I read it out, so please, I'm just reading it again. Please.
Yeah. So I think from in terms of prediction, there have been models which already using conventional GIS and not Geo AI. The models which are already doing the prediction. I know people have done predicting where urban development will occur, or the direction of urban development, or the intensity of urban development. So urban phenomena and how, for instance, land use change. Where would land land use change from, for instance, open green space to
Right.
built up commercial, residential, or other.
Right.
So those applications have been there. And now what we are seeing, I think, is on generative AI. So generative AI and also generative design. So urban design, then you give the context or the criteria or some information, then the model would be able to predict. So for you to predict, I think in my little understanding is that then we need to have that historical information. So the historical information is very good, that it builds realistic predictions. You want to predict something, and there are also all those technical and academic steps that need to be followed, the validation, the training, testing, validation, and the like. So yeah, so definitely, yes, there's big potential. And I think you'd see the use cases where people have developed these applications. One phenomena that I'm interested in and we're working on with my colleagues is on flood prediction. So floods affecting many places, and in my context, where I come from in Kenya, floods have been affecting the city and other places. So we know floods behave in a certain way. So there's that science on hydrology and space, and we are able to model where the next flood will be. Because in one application I was looking at just recently, you are able to get information on floods for the last, or inundation. You're able to get inundation and climate data for the last 70 years. Your ground data and land use information, you also have it. So now, understanding the philosophy or the behavior of water, then you're able to do flood prediction, and you can tell if it rains by this amount, 60 millimeters per hour for 3 hours, these areas will get flooded, we need to intervene. Do those areas have stormwater drainage? Do they have canals and other mitigation measures? Then you can plan all that in a model and predict that, or what you call simulation. So predicting phenomena through simulations can help you also do that. And it's happening. I'll send you a link on Fast Flood. It's called Fast Flood. Fast Flood are doing some good stuff. Yeah.
Fast Flood. Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, that's the first thing. Yeah,
so
definitely, eventually.
Yeah. So that's it. I'm showing it on the screen there. Sorry. Flood. Okay.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah, great question as well, I think. And there's just so much space to improve in the field and towards that direction as well. For predictive analysis, I think for different scales, like a countrywide scale and urban planning scale, master planning scale, state planning scale, house planning scale. I think there's just so much predictive analysis to do there. And AI is definitely going to play a role. Well, okay,
Yes.
thank you so much. Fantastic. James, thank you so much for your time, and thanks everyone who stayed until the end
Thank you.
for being here. Yeah, I think this is a very good conversation. Some quite technical, but that's why I like it, because I'm nerdy. And thank you so much, James.
Sorry.
No, I love it. Definitely keep it the same, please. And thank you so much for pushing for humanity and pushing boundaries as well. So thanks so much, James, for sharing us what you're doing.
Thank you, Adeline, and everybody.
Thank you. Okay. See you guys next time. Thank you.
Okay,
Bye.
bye-bye.